I'm choosing 2 plastic rake heads from the Dollar Tree. Using a heat gun, I'm heating the labels so they can be removed effortlessly, followed by some solvent to remove the glue residue and TSP alternative to clean it. I'm now choosing a used, flexible stainless steel faucet connector I had in my stash and an old wire hanger. Using a hacksaw, I'm sawing off both ends of the connector so I'm just left with the tubing. I'm now straightening out the hanger and cutting it to the length of the connector using a pipe cutter. I'm now threading the wire through the connector to help hold the shape I desire. The connector is being dry fit inside both rake head holes so I can measure a desired gap between both rakes. Transferring that measurement onto a 1/4 inch coroplast, I'm cutting a long strip the entire length of the rakes, ensuring the hollow flutes are running horizontal against the long sides. On one side of the coroplast, I'm cutting through each flute but only one side. If the flutes are hard to see, some additional task lighting can really help. Now the coroplast can bend. Next up, I'm painting one side of the rakes and both sides of the coroplast with black spray paint. 3 coats were needed with plenty of drying time in between. Now that the paint is dry, I'm bending the coroplast to open the cut flutes back up where the paint made them stick. Using a glue gun, I'm applying hot glue to one rake along the inside bottom, then attaching one side of the coroplast. Once stable, I'm now gluing the other rake to the coroplast to create a base that supports both rakes. I'm now adding some hot glue onto the rake holes, then inserting the connector. Reaching for some soft twisted rope, also from the dollar store, I'm gluing and winding the rope around the connector to completely cover it. I found the rope easier to work with if I rolled it into a ball prior and hot glued it into place every so often. And I am left with the most adorable garden-themed rake basket that can be used so many ways. Doesn't that black rake against the white rope look elegant? And I love the peak of the original green inside. However, you can paint both sides the same color or choose any 2 tones you wish. Or bring it to a patio table and use it as a table centerpiece. Simply place a cup inside, insert faux or real flowers to instantly summarize your space. Or how about filling it with plants or flowers, then hang it on a front door or shed door or under a window as a unique window box planter. The added feature is not only enchanting, it's weather resistant too. Here's 2 ways to create a dreamy winter wonderland using simple toilet paper rolls and paper doilies. I'm pressing, then cutting along one side of a toilet paper roll. The roll is then being folded into a triangle, cutting any overage to create a perfect square shape. I'm now marking 1/4 inch increments along one open cut side. Using scissors, I'm cutting straight strips very close to the folded edge without cutting through. I'm now opening the leaf, hand curling the sides so they curve upwards. Starting with the bottom strip, I'm hot gluing both sides together straight onto each other. I'm now hot gluing every other strip together the same way until the entire side is complete. Turning it to the other side, I'm using scissors to curl the strips in the opposite direction. This makes them easier to glue together in the same way. If you stop at 5, you can create a star shape. However, I will be adding one more to create a snowflake. After all 6 are complete, I'm trimming off the very tops where it's too small to fold. I'm now hot gluing all the shapes together at the base of each one. Making some folds before gluing also proved to be helpful. I'm now placing the snowflakes inside a box, then using spray adhesive while quickly sprinkling faux snow on top so it sticks. Adding a neutral thread to one side to hang, I now have a super unique and original 3D snowflake with a touch of rustic charm. I love how the cardboard tone gives this piece a warm woodsy feel, while the faux flakes resemble fresh fallen snow. Next up, let's make a winter wonderland out of paper doilies. After ordering a package containing 3 different sized paper doilies, I'm making a pile of each size. I'm folding one doily in half, then opening and spinning it so the fold sits vertical. Both the top and bottom are being folded up towards the center of the doily. After folding 6, I'm opening up each doily, then gluing only half of the 2 curved sides from the center up. Then I'm gently pulling each one open, ensuring it hasn't stuck together anywhere else. To join all 6 doilies, I'm running the glue horizontally along the bottom and vertically up the center of each one using a glue stick, then stacking one on top of another to create a pile. With one final glue application on top, I'm joining the 2 open ends to form a circle. I'm now repeating all the same steps, creating multiples of different sizes to create a nice varied effect. I'm now tying some neutral tone thread so I can hang them up. And the result is a dreamy winter wonderland wherever you choose to display them. These snowflakes with their lacy details, along with their 3D thickness, creates an astonishingly abundant look. A group hanging in a window really fills a space up quickly, while allowing the sun. I'm choosing a couple of pool noodles in both the smaller and larger sizes. I'm marking different lengths on each one using a long blade, then cutting them like a loaf of bread works really well. Grabbing some brown postal paper, I'm wrapping each pool noodle until completely covered, then trimming it off. With each wrapper I created, I'm ripping it into long freehand strips so I achieve jagged edges, then crushing them up with my hands so the paper is completely wrinkled. I'm pouring some Mod Podge into a bowl, painting it onto the pool noodle, then attaching the paper strips along the full length until completely covered. All the pool noodles are getting the same treatment. The ends of the pool noodles are also getting covered, then trimmed with scissors. I'm now reaching for some tissue paper, crushing it up well, then Mod Podging it into random spots on the logs. You can also use toilet paper, which would compress even more. The tissue is being applied to random areas on each log, then getting heavily covered with Mod Podge. Now that the logs are dry, I'm choosing a white paint called Victorian Lace by Fusion Mineral Paint. Each entire log is getting well coated, then allowed to dry. I only needed 1 coat. I'm now creating a light gray paint wash. Since I didn't have a light gray paint on hand, I'm mixing a white with a darker gray to create my own tone, then adding some water so the paint goes on transparent. Each log is getting completely painted with the wash, attempting to achieve a somewhat uneven look. Once dry, I'm painting the logs with a light beige wash to create a bit of a woodsy effect. I then went over the logs again with a whitewash until I was happy with the overall look. Now that the logs are dry, I'm using a darker gray to paint a stripe effect along the sides using uneven spacing and in random places. The tissue areas are getting a heavier treatment to fully cover each one, which will turn into wood knots. To blur the lines for a natural effect, I'm spraying the gray lines with a water mister until they blend in for a natural look. Once the logs are dry, I'm creating a stack of wood by placing the logs onto the top of some burlap ribbon. I'm securing the wood bundle by creating a loose knot, then adding some pine cones and evergreen branches before tying it up tight. Using hot glue, I'm attaching some Spanish moss to the wood knot areas for some realistic detail. And you are left with a gorgeous stack of faux firewood logs, perfect for cozy holiday or winter decorating, placed anywhere you wish. The fire logs give off such a casual, cozy vibe anywhere you place them, such as a table centerpiece, placed at a front entry, beside a real wood-burning or gas fireplace. The next time you come across some simple wicker baskets, consider these creative ways to decorate and store with them. I'm arranging some wicker baskets on the floor that are of similar size. Reaching for my full plants, I'm placing them inside the various baskets. Now I'm going to hang each basket on the wall in a few different ways. If the basket is large enough, I'm attaching the basket to the wall by screwing it from the inside. With a smaller basket, I'm using a handheld screwdriver to attach it instead. Finally, I'm inserting a screw into the wall, then simply hanging up a basket. With all the baskets now hung where desired, I'm positioning the plants inside each until they have a full and lush look. And the end result is an instant mini live plant wall that won't need watering. Next up, I'm selecting a smaller basket with a long handle. I'm unattaching the handle, reaching for a touch LED light. The basket is being placed over top of the small lampshade, instantly transforming a standard lamp into one with rustic personal charm. My front entry was in desperate need of a tidy-up. I'm removing the jumble of exposed shoes that are piled up under the entry bench, then sweeping underneath the area until it's clean. Choosing some baskets that fit under the bench, I'm sorting out all the shoes by how we use them. The older gardening shoes are being placed in one basket, while the everyday good shoes are being placed in another. Now I'm sliding each basket into place underneath the bench. This is also a really good time to consider purging a few that are no longer being used. I am leaving the area by the door basket free so I can place our most used shoes within easy sight. Since I also have some shelves with gloves and such in plain view, I'm going to beautify that area too. Each shelf is being completely emptied of all contents for a fresh start, then brushed clean. Now baskets are being outfitted onto each shelf to get a feel for what looks good. Each basket is getting filled with like-minded things such as warm gloves and toques, and in another, gardening gloves, so everything is easy to find. Now each basket is being placed on the shelves with decorative elements being added to pretty it up. The entry is now a well-organized and beautiful space, still housing all the same things, but this time everything is well hidden. A tall skinny cabinet in my bathroom, while serviceable, has all the essentials in full display, which isn't very pretty. To create instant shelves to my shutter cupboard, I'm adding some cut-to-size cedar strips and wood planks, slipping the boards into place, creating easy shelving. Selecting 3 smaller baskets, I'm placing 1 toilet paper roll in each basket, then positioning 1 basket per shelf. And the end result is a lovely cupboard with shelves that is fun to look at thanks to the interesting basket shapes and tones. With each basket different, they look like a pretty display. However, the extra essentials are right within arm's reach whenever they are needed. Lastly, here's a fun way to add a decorative element to your ceiling that takes up no space at all. I'm gathering up various baskets of different shapes and sizes. Gathering some different ways to hang each basket, such as twine, chain, or rope, I'm creating a way to hang up each basket. After installing an old window frame to the ceiling, I'm now hanging up each basket until the window frame is completely full. And you end up with a fabulous way to display all your baskets in an area that can use a little extra warmth. Here's a simple yet gorgeous natural decor idea that can stay out all winter long. Deciding on our winter woodland theme, I gathered up some white and silver ornaments alongside pine cones to bring this natural and elegant theme to life. Reaching for some strong neutral thread, I unrolled and snipped some, then tied the thread to 2 sides of the wreath so I have the ability to hang it. Using the same strong thread, each of the chosen ornaments and pine cones are now being threaded to prepare each one for hanging. For the pine cones, I found if I wound the string around the cone, tied it tight, then threaded the string towards the very top, the pine cones would hang straight down rather than on an angle. Now I'm starting to hang each ornament, keeping in mind placement, weight, and color. Since the pine cones are the heaviest, I'm hanging 2 at a time. 1 pine cone is being tied to one side of the wreath, then I'm spinning the wreath around to the other side to hang another at a slightly different level. This really helps with the weight distribution. I'm snipping off all the long threads around the wreath to tidy it up. Then I'm moving below the ornaments and snipping off those threads as well. And the end result is the dreamiest winter woodland mobile possible. I love how the whisper of the wintry outdoors is present through the branches and pine cones, yet the ornaments with the feathers tucked inside remind us of our wildlife friends. You are going to want to load up on some Dollar Tree fencing and easy care faux flowers. I'm removing the dirt stakes from 2 plastic fence panels by scoring the plastic with an X-Acto knife, then snapping the pieces off. Putting weight on the board, I'm snapping off the pieces with pliers. Now I'm flipping over the 2 fence panels good side down. I'm joining the 4 corners of the overlapped areas with black zip strips, also from the Dollar Tree. I'm placing the joined panels on top of a 3rd fence panel, taking note how much I'll need to create for a bottom. I'm now going to round out the shape of the basket by attaching the bottom to the basket. The bottom is positioned, then zip stripped into place, adding extra straps around the corners for additional support. I mixed up a small batch of acrylic craft paint to create a rust tone. Then I'm dabbing the paint onto the basket in a random way to simulate realistic rust. I'm creating a liner for the basket bottom by placing the basket onto a double-sided Amazon shipping package, then tracing it and cutting it out so it fits the inside of the basket perfectly. Some floral foam from a dollar store is being placed inside the basket. Some green moss I scooped off my lawn is being positioned along the bottom of the basket, good side facing out. Craft moss can be used as well. Sprigs of taller grass is being inserted into the floral foam. Other flowers are being rotated in tone, then inserted into the floral foam around the grass. Now that all the flowers are positioned, I'm able to continue to rotate paper filler with moss until all the sides of the basket are completely lined with moss. The tops of the tall grass is getting unevenly trimmed with scissors to give it a more natural look. And the final result is a gorgeous, realistic flower basket that I never need to water. The rusty iron basket looks like the real deal, and so does the flower arrangement, thanks to the added branches and real moss. I hope this inspires you to grab a couple of cheap fence panels along with some full flowers to create a beautifully realistic flower basket of your own.